I mean, if I was serious enough about it, I could do it, irrespective of my time, age, and all the other, the usual bahanas that we have. And when you are not serious enough about it, it will never happen. So you can have three guitars at home.
Today I'm so happy and delighted to be talking to a gentleman who is a thorough professional, a great professional at that. And believe me, it's going to be a very free-flowing conversation. Siddharth has just joined me. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. Today is 2nd October. And I'm looking at the watch. I mean, nowadays, I think hardly people are looking at the watch for time. They're looking at the cell phone. So it's 10:32 in the morning. And I'm so happy, Siddharth, for having spared this time of yours. I know that you must be so busy a person, professional, and still you have taken out time to be talking to me. Believe me, this interaction is going to be seen by lakhs and lakhs of people as the days.
My pleasure, Arun. And I have known you for close to 20 years, as I was saying. And I've been seeing your posts, and it's my pleasure to come across and have a chat with you.
Thank you so much, Siddharth.
My sincere pleasure.
Thank you so much. So, audience, I think, of course, I'm feeling grateful to Siddharth because this Sunday morning hours, which must have been, which should have been dedicated to his family, to some of his passions for which you might not have been getting time between Monday to Friday, or maybe Saturday as well. At times, the work spills over. He has given this time to me, and actually, he's giving this time to all of you. So, thank you so much, Siddharth, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So, Siddharth, while talking to you, I'm just thinking about I'm lost a bit in my thoughts. 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, it was 2003, and we were in XLRI, School of Management, Jamshedpur.
That's right.
I recall we had one, as a part of our curriculum in marketing, we were supposed to make a presentation. So we had marketing, we had HR, we had different topics, and in marketing, we were supposed to actually, it was a project work. So we are supposed to complete a project work for which people are supposed to visit. I don't know how many people actually visited different places. You certainly did that because when you made the presentation, it had actual pictures which you had taken of Titan showrooms and Titan, things related to Titan.
Yeah.
And the audience, I'm telling with you, I'm saying this with conviction, it's a heart-to-heart conversation. His was the probably only presentation in which Dr. Siddharth Chaturvedi, anybody who knows XLRI, he or she knows Dr. Siddharth Chaturvedi. He is one of the best professors of marketing across the world, I'll say. He was sitting on one of the rearmost chairs, and he was looking at your presentation. And I was looking at you, and then I was looking at him also. And as you started a presentation, you played that jingle, I don't know, in those times of very less technology, I think things that just started opening up. I don't know how you could get all these audio jingles and videos. And I think it's all a matter of passion. When there is passion, magic happens. And that was the first, I think, example of what it means when somebody does something out of sheer passion. Your presentation was absolutely in a different league. And Dr. Siddharth Chaturvedi, at the end of the presentation, I saw him coming to the front, and then he did like this. He is a person I have never seen him doing like this for any other presentation. So Siddharth, I think that was amazing. It is such a delightful experience for me to be talking to somebody who actually has been following his passion while being in corporate. Marketing is something which is at the core of you. And of course, you are a thorough professional. We are going to talk about XLRI, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and a lot of things which you have, a lot of places which are associated, which are connected with you. So Siddharth, how does it feel to be heading marketing and exports in such a reputed organization that Tata Hitachi Construction Equipment Private Limited truly is over the last so many years, such a long time? So how does it feel? And let's listen to Siddharth. Audience, I think it's going to be truly a heartwarming and enlightening conversation. What does Siddharth, before we take some more points? Yes, Siddharth. Thank you so much once again.
Yeah, so I would rather classify myself as a person who is pretty much conventional by today's standards, because nobody spends this amount of time in one single organization. I don't know whether it is good or it is bad, but it's for you all to judge. But my only takeaway has been, again, I will not classify it, is that I had the opportunity to get rotated in different areas which were not really related to each other. I mean, So because of that, I went through different functions. I was in corporate planning. I started in worked in a little bit of supply chain, then moved on to the managing director's office, and I was a part of an acquisition. Then I was there to manage that acquisition in Spain, and then from there I came across to product management, and from product management to marketing, and from marketing to exports. So that is I would say is the core or the fundamental aspect, that I got to see a little bit of some things, if not everything, but a little bit of something that I got to see, and that's what I have come to cherish, and that's what I have always liked to do, uh, because as a person also, I'd love to do different things at all points of time. So this is how things have panned out for myself, and it's been a pretty good ride, and uh, and now again we are trying to work out on different areas, trying to expand the boundary for export. As such, the government of India has been very, very supportive on this area, so they're also encouraging the whole thing. So it's probably being in the right place at the right time, if I were to say it. So that's how things are turning out to be.
I think this video is going to be seen by many people, many professionals, top-notch people, CEOs, CXOs. I think if there is one criteria which makes people working in corporates the best of professionals, it is the quality of being in an organization for long and growing in career. And I think you've done that, Siddharth. I think that's absolutely an amazing quality in a world. This is all about 1 minute shorts and 30 seconds, I don't know, clips and reels and all that. I think it's very important for us to appreciate the fact that, like it happens in the world of in nature, for a sapling to grow to a large tree, it takes some time. It takes some time. And of course, the fact here is that things have to keep on growing. The career has to keep on growing. The trees have keep on growing. Life has to keep on growing with a lot of experiences. So let's talk about some of the experiences which you had while which you must have been having while working in some of these best of organizations. So Siddharth, I think in many other interactions, I couldn't ask a question which I wanted to ask them, and those were related to leadership, because of course there are a lot of books on leadership and a lot of talks and all that. So we shall go to some of the leadership lessons which Siddharth would like to share with the audience.
There's a lot which is written about leadership, and I personally have come to believe that as a leader, the first responsibility, which this is something which I personally believe, is to make your own people grow, because that's one thing which I have always felt, and I will not claim that I have done this or I have done that, but this is what I have believed, and of course it is up to the people within the team to also take those opportunities, but making your youngsters grow is something which is of paramount importance, because it has a practical side to it.
Yeah.
If you have team members who can do multiple things, then your load also goes down.
Absolutely. I think this one quality which I have spoken about, Siddharth, we can stay here on this quality for, and we can still keep on conversing for half a day, maybe at least half a day. I've seen
So
what's happening.
it's not that really very complicated. It's at the heart of leadership, and there's so much is written at it.
Yeah.
I have only realized that very good leaders, which have been come to be appreciated by one and all, are essentially very good human beings.
Absolutely, Siddharth.
You have to be a very good human being, because all those qualities which are being asked for from a leader, that you have to take care of your youngsters, you have to manage the organization, make it grow, and this is a lot written on that.
Yeah.
Whatever you need to do, if at the heart your intent is not clear, if as a human being you do not harbor good intentions, then all this will show through. It might get hidden behind processes and a plethora of manuals and SOPs, but ultimately it will show through if your intent is not genuine.
Absolutely, Siddharth. Actually, I wanted to share with you. Yes, actually, when I said half a day, what I wanted to share is that this is such an insightful topic. It's such a plain and simple topic, but still, I don't know why many people are not able to get it.
I will only add to this that I love music, and one of the songs which I have always come across. I mean, I'm sure some of the, at least the older generation, would have heard it. The song is "Simple Man, Simple Dreams," and it's a
Yeah.
song by J.D. Souther, and I think it's a cover version. But the song has got one line which actually touches me the most, and that line actually says, "Truth is simple, but seldom ever seen." It's very simple. Things are,
Yeah,
it's not complicated. You don't have to obfuscate things and put them into
yeah.
things, and make dabbas and triangles and all those kind of things. You just
Yeah,
follow your heart, and you have a job to do. You have an objective. Of course, management principles do help you,
yeah,
and
certainly.
put things in perspective. But these fads that keep coming and going, I don't buy too much into them.
Yeah, and absolutely, you are absolutely right. I always tell people, since I've been in the field of coaching and writing and speaking, I always tell people that, actually, truth is very simple, as you rightly said. And I always tell people, just think about your childhood days. Since childhood days, we have been using some currency notes, 1 rupee, 2 rupee, on which we have seen Satyamev Jayate being written, right? Truth always prevails. And what it means is that if the intention which you spoke about is correct, if my intent is correct, actually the actions which I'm supposed to take as a leader, as a manager, as a husband, as a wife, as a spouse, as a child, as a student, are just a few. I know a student is supposed to read, is supposed to study, is supposed to spend some good amount of time every day, maybe 4 hours, maybe 6 hours, but while doing something which in Gita they call as dharma, the duty, and which is very simple, but still we, I think, make it very complicated while thinking of a lot of things, and then we start thinking as to how the other person is going to think, and then there is a whole bunch of topics which have come up: politics, organizational, political, psychology, and this and that, and triangles and quadrilaterals. And believe me, audience, this coming from a person who is an expert in marketing and exports, which of course are full of a lot of triangles and a lot of theories. Again, is proving the same point, that at the core of it, it's all very simple. I think people have made it complex. And I wanted to share here one picture which I downloaded from, I think, LinkedIn, because of course I realized today, Siddharth, that we are not connected over Facebook, so I couldn't get a lot of pictures, but still have got a few. And let me share with the audience one picture, and we are still on the same topic. It's all very simple. It's all very simple, and it all starts with the intention and passion. So let me share a picture. So this is a picture which I saw on LinkedIn. Let it's something, it all starts with passion. If you have got the intention clear, if you want to do something, if you feel strongly for something, there is a way which you can find to express what you want to share. It's very simple. Like this is a picture which is there on WhatsApp. Many people used to circulate. I'm absolutely 100% sure that out of the people who have seen this picture, out of the people who might have forwarded it, 95% people might not have got the actual essence of it. It all says one thing: where there is will, there is way. If you truly feel for something, you can find a way to express. I would like to share with you one instance from my life, Siddharth. It was in 2019 when I had got a group of people in the beautiful pink city of Jaipur, and we wanted to hold a 2-hour session. And then I just all of a sudden I thought of calling these people on a Sunday morning at around 7 o'clock to a garden. It's a beautiful garden called Landscape Garden. For those who are in Jaipur, there is a place called Mansarovar. For those who know about Jaipur, and in this beautiful city of part of Mansarovar, which is a part of Jaipur, there is a garden which is designed by Tata Engineering, I think. Tata Engineering, if I'm correct.
Yes, I think they had rejuvenated that part.
Rejuvenated, absolutely right. It used to be a Nala kind of thing, which
it used to be Nala. It was
rejuvenated. Beautiful place. Absolutely right. And there we had 2 hours of session while looking at the trees, while getting inspirations from leaves, from trees, from Nala, from river, from garden. And that day I realized for the first time that all the lessons of life, management, success, corporates are actually coming out of nature. And then I started thinking about some of these books which have been written and some of the talks which are there on YouTube. It's all about passion. It's all about getting inspired from things which are very simple, but these have got very insightful message.
Arun, the only thing which I have felt today these days
Yeah.
is that because you touched on the aspect of nature and things like that. Somewhere down the line, in the last 3 or 4 or 5 or maybe 8 decades, in the last the part of the 20th century,
Yeah.
mankind as a whole and management professionals as a part of it have somewhere forgotten the fact that nature is not separate from you. You are a part of nature.
Absolutely. We
You
are
are a part of nature, and there is nothing like really inspiration, because it is a part of you. You just have to look around it. You have built all these things, these complicated structures around you, which is actually obfuscating your view.
Yeah.
So life is very simple, and things which are given by nature are relatively very simple, self-sustaining.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to complicate things.
Absolutely.
We are just getting entangled in our own creations. That's
You
all.
are absolutely right. I can resonate with each and every word which you said. There is something which I can feel within me. Absolutely correct. Siddharth, you must be hiring a lot of people, because before we move to the next topic, which again has got some connotation with nature, I thought of completing this part. You must be hiring many people for your organization. Which are those 2 to 3 qualities which you look for before hiring some of these talents for the organization?
I would rather say there is only one quality that I look for
Yeah.
genuinely, is attitude.
Attitude. Absolutely.
That's all.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if
Absolutely.
you have an attitude which matches with your requirements, and those requirements also are very simple, that you are willing to do the work, you're willing to learn, you're willing to be a part of the whole thing. If I can see that attitude being there, then that's it. Because any amount of skill can be learned.
Yeah.
And I have experienced it personally.
Yeah.
If you are wanting to do it, you will learn it. I personally, again, do not believe in the fact that people say that at this age or at that age you cannot do it. Maybe you might not have the right amount of time with you, or let's face it, you may not be serious about it enough,
You're
and
absolutely right.
you are just having, as I call it, as ace professionals. These are called armchair enthusiasts. So if you're an armchair enthusiast, then you can have a lot of bucket lists. You can have a lot of things to
Yeah.
say. Yes, I would like to do this, but I'm not able to do this. I want to learn how to play the guitar. I want to learn how to. I want to go to Siberia and take a trip there. I mean, all those things can be on your list and say, oh, I don't have time, or I'm too old, I can't do it. Because all the people whom you look up to in life have one thing in common. And I hear quote a film which I saw on McDonald's, and I happened to read the book sometime
Yeah.
back, Behind the Golden Arches. Uh, One thing which definitely pays is persistence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you are persistent, then you can learn Swahili if you wish to learn. You can learn programming language Python. You can learn how to do maths or whatever you want to do. Only thing is, you have to be honest to your own self first. Forget
Absolutely.
about anything else. You have to be honest to your own self. Are you going to do it, or are you just saying it?
Yeah.
I'll quote examples from my own life rather than
Yeah.
this. Just to recount to you, I have a set of 3 guitars at home.
Yeah.
One was gifted by my wife maybe about 12 years back.
Mm-hmm.
One was gifted by my wife to my younger son. And
Okay.
one is gifted by me to my son.
Wow.
Okay. Of course, I love music and I love the instrument guitar. Sure. But, and I kept on, I made false starts to learn how to play the guitar. And sometimes it would start and then it would stop, and I would always give the musing saying, okay, I want to learn how to play. And my son got an electric guitar, and then he started playing, and I think he's been playing for the last 8 months or so, and he's doing pretty well. And
Yeah.
he knows I love to play and I keep listening to whatever he's playing and make some corrections here or there. But he always keeps saying, why don't you learn? Why don't you learn? And I will tell him, यार सीखेंगे, देखेंगे, करते हैं, मेरे को बहुत पसंद है.
Many of us do about many things, right? This is just
मेरे
here.
को बहुत पसंद है, ये मेरे को बहुत पसंद है.
Correct. I'll come back. I'll come back to you. Yeah.
The fact of the matter, Arun, is that I am not yet serious enough to put that time to say I will learn it and I will do it.
Absolutely, you are right.
On the other hand, another small example is we have. I was working, or rather, our family has got a small trust which has a college in our ancestral village.
Yeah,
and we needed to build a website for it.
Right.
And of course, building a website, you would know that one needs to have not just the technical part of it, but you would also need the content part to it.
Absolutely.
And once you are putting the content part to the story, then what you need to do is to collect all this information.
Absolutely.
So I was just interested. I said, let's do this.
Yeah.
Because I was interested in education as such. So I just said, okay, let's do this. So I said, okay, why don't you take this example as a part of starting to do, to learn how to build websites.
Absolutely.
So I took a course, and along the course, I started building one.
That's the
now this, just to say that the website is up and running. It's nothing great. It's a very, very simple website, but nevertheless, it does the job.
Yes.
It's the website, the URL is very simple, dicholipura.in. It's a college website. You can open it now, you can see it. So, I mean, if I was serious enough about it, I could do it, irrespective of my time, age, and all the other, the usual bahanas that we have. And when you are not serious enough about it, it will never happen. So you can have 3 guitars at home.
Absolutely. Can you just spell out the website, Siddharth?
It's DIC, one line, DIC Holipura.
Holy
Pura.
PURA. Okay.
.in.
.in.
It's a very simple, basic website.
Another inter college.
That's right.
Another inter college. So
it's a simple website, and I'm trying to add, the basic functionalities to it.
Beautiful.
So all those major professionals, web developers out there listening to Arun, please pardon me for lots of glitches, or it may not look very professionally done.
We are enjoying the conversation. With everything that you are saying is absolutely making sense. Yeah, full sense.
So this is how, this is what I can see for my own self. So wow. I'm sure others can also see the same for themselves. So this is a college website that we have, and this is a college which we are trying to revive in a manner, because this has been around for close to 90 years. So we put up this computer center, and
beautiful
family run thing. So we're trying to do this work. So that's how it is.
So beautiful. It looks so nostalgic. It reminds us of the the times when actually people used to go to the place and study. There's nothing like learning and all that you feel. And of course, you can feel the connection between nature and educational institution. This is one thing which I've seen with all the academic centers, Siddharth. You think of any good college, any school, there would be a lot of nature around it. For example, there is a place called Pune University in Pune University. And if you enter that place, it's like the perfect place for jogging and walking and forest walk. And people also used to say there are stories that there are some forest kind of shootings which have been done in the same place. So very beautiful look and feel. I think sometime when I come to Agra, yes, I'll be happy visiting the place and maybe talking to the students, because it's something which is very close to my heart. Wow, I can see some celebrities, around.
Yeah, this college has appeared in a couple of feature films also.
Yeah. So there is a connection between all the academic institutions, nature, and
because they wanted to use the the college building for the purpose of
it looks very nice. Is he from the same college?
No, he's not from the college, definitely not. But he had come, Ashutosh Rana had come across to the college, and
very nice.
So that's how it is.
Also, I see some very good work which I can see for the society, because we're looking at some of the news clippings. Excellent.
Yeah. So
Siddharth,
this is a yeah.
so we'll certainly go back to the topic of the word which you used, which is very powerful, attitude, because this is something which around which I have built all my programs and coaching. But I think I'm going to keep mum. I'm just going to listen to you as how do you ensure that? How do you see that in the course of Ensure, you actually look at people who have got good attitude? It's something which is very interesting. So we'll come back to that. Taking a step back, how do you feel the element of contribution to the society, because we are on this page, adds to a person becoming a more leading a more fulfilling life? I think this is something which I know it's very important. Both are connected, but I wanted to hear from you. I can see there is a passion for you to do something which you have done. Learning how to make a new website is not easy. I know it's still simple, but yeah, you have done it. So again, I see another example of passion. Yeah.
So the aspect is of giving back. You and I both have lived and studied in a city of Jamshedpur, which is
Yeah.
set up, and it's a living proof of how to give back to society. Of course, people will always say that if 100 years ago, if you wanted to set up a steel plant in the middle of nowhere and wilderness, uh, who would come to work for you if you do not have a place to live, if you do not have a place to go to school, or you do not have a hospital there?
Yeah.
But true, it makes a lot of practical sense. But one must never forget the fact that it's the intent with which it was done which actually makes this whole organization to whom we both have been connected, and makes it have that respect and that admiration in your heart. What sets it apart is that what comes out. And as long as that intention remains true, it will continue to come out.
Very
And you can see it in the names of TIFR, you can see it in the names of TISS, you can see it in the name of Indian Institute of Science, you can see it in the names of TMH in Bombay.
Yeah.
So I think it was not overt, but I mean, you are bombarded by this idea subconsciously all the time. And of course, I mean, if you sidestep a little bit, and when you say that yesterday I was just talking to my wife on a flight.
Yeah.
And I was telling her that true that, you have to be, I mean, you are in this world, it's a practical world, you have to earn, grow, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, it is all going to come to a close.
Absolutely.
So, in reality, in practicality, without being philosophical or spiritual, whatever you've got, you'll just give it away and walk away from this place. So there is no mumbo jumbo talk about it, but it's very simple, that whatever you have, you might as well willingly give it away and share it with others, because any which ways you will not carry it back.
Yeah, the contribution is, I think, is inbuilt. It's very much inbuilt in the basic fabric of life. And
yeah, it has to be that way, because you will not carry a single cent with you. You will not even carry your clothes with you. So
absolutely. I think the message is very, very loud and clear. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you can amass whatever you want to amass. You are most welcome to do it, and you should do it, because otherwise you will not survive.
Yeah.
But along the way, if you do it willingly with somebody, you may be acquiring some good karma, as they talk about these days. But it's very simple idea. There's nothing good karma and all that, talk about it. It's very simple. You will not take any of it along with you. So
I think this is very true. And I think also we spoke about how life is deeply connected with nature. Actually, we all are coming from nature. You look at rivers which are giving, you look at trees which are giving, and there are so many examples. grass on which you walk and it makes you feel smooth and calm. I mean, if you go finer to a finer aspect, it's all about giving. It's all about doing something, adding some value to the society, adding some value to the corporates. So coming back to the topic of attitude. So of course, I will hold myself back, and I wanted to learn from you something. In the course of interaction, Siddharth, how do you see that by asking certain questions and by watching the body language, or by doing something else, by talking to the candidate, how do you get to know whether the candidate has got the kind of right attitude? I know it's not going to be possible all the time, but still, how do you get to see that you are getting a candidate who is close to the frame of attitude which you're looking for? So, yeah.
See, in the scope of work where you can ask people to narrate their work experiences and bring out what they have done, not in a pointed manner, because that becomes like a leading question. It's very simple that you ask the person about what have they done.
Absolutely.
And in that course of things, because I have seen some cases which are, where interviews are asking people to say, what is your particular contribution towards it?
Yeah.
Because of course people have a lot of things to tell, but it also becomes a leading question where you tend to over amplify or over stress on things which may or may not be genuinely yours. So you just narrate to me a story and let me figure it out as to what attitude do you possess and what traits do you possess. And as I said, this is the most important thing in any working or any environment, so to say, because you can learn anything you want. As per your need or as per your compulsions, you will learn anything you want. But attitude is something which is very difficult to change.
Absolutely.
People do change that also. Again, it's a matter of intent. So if you decide upon that, I will hold a positive attitude towards life and no matter what. And I have seen some very close people who have had that attitude of not giving up. They are not the usual people whom you will get to see on YouTube and LinkedIn's and things like that. These are people whom you'll get to see around in your family if you look close, and who would not give up on what they have chosen to take on. I think that's the best lesson to take from. And I would confess here with you that I'm nowhere close to what they were. And some people whom I have known, one of them is definitely my own mother, who set that example very well for me, that she would never give up. Give up. It's not something like that she was out to build a business empire or anything like that. No. It's something that she said that I will not let my father's illness have a reflection on me, that we will all also be morose, or we will be quiet, or we will not enjoy ourselves in whatever possibility or boundaries that his illness placed upon us. And my father also never gave up he carried on to the best of his ability. So I would look up to such people to learn for that attitude that we will not give up.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to read them in books. They are in front of you actually.
Absolutely.
You just have to look close enough. That's all.
It's very clear. I think that what I have also seen in the course of interviewing, because I have been in the field of HR over the last many years, I see that it's not the questions which matter, it is the answers. The way a person responds to the same question does matter. For example, I've seen people talking about some of the challenging situations in the company and how did they make the best of it, how people have converted challenges into opportunities. And once a person says, you can get from the sheen in the eyes of the person, from the body language, from the way the person is explaining, that the person actually means it. So there are certain ways through which actually we can get close to a person, a candidate who might be having a very positive attitude. And I think reference also works. That's the reason people also try to talk to somebody who knows their candidate over the last many years. Attitude goes without saying. I think people used to talk about KSA principle, knowledge, skill, and attitude. Attitude is one quality which I think differentiates people, because the way we look at the same thing which happens to us, because I always tell my people that it's not what has happened to us. The way you look at something which has happened to us does change the entire world. It's not what is happening to us. It's all the way we are perceiving something and the way we are looking at things.
Yeah, I mean,
you're saying something. Go on, go on.
No, so it's again the same thing that knowledge is probably what you have processed, and as a consequence of your experiences, whatever you have processed and kept in your mind is your knowledge. But skills is something that you have learned consciously.
Yes.
So, I mean, of course, because when you go to an interview and you are applying for a particular position, then some degree of screening has already happened that you definitely.
Absolutely. And I think, so sorry to pause here. I think, and we all know that it's easier for us to taste the knowledge and a skill of a person. There could be some written questions.
Yeah.
You check the skill. You can also have some questions.
Yeah.
You check knowledge.
That's
attitude is something I'm just hovering around this topic, attitude, because you said it absolutely right. This is something which is a little abstract for many people, but this is something which is also going to decide whether the candidate is going to, what kind of value the candidate is going to bring.
That's right.
Awesome, Siddharth. You also spoke about your parents. Some of those 2 or 3 lessons which you got, I think, already said, but I think I want to harp on this topic that we all, I think everybody from the audience, we all can get the best of lessons if we just reflect back on our childhood days, and the way we saw our parents behaving or talking to us, and the way we saw things happening in our childhood days. I think there are some very important nuggets of lessons which are hidden. Would you like to say something about your childhood days and how did you come to 2 or 3 lessons which might have shaped your life and career?
Yeah, I mean, as I was mentioning to you a little while ago, I mean, my father was not keeping very good health. So it was a challenge for him to manage his job, and of course then look after us and provide for us.
Yeah,
he gave us a decent life. It's not that we were something on the road or something like that, but definitely he had his own challenges. He was a severe epileptic, and because of that it was a challenge for him to keep up with his duties once in a while.
Absolutely.
So now the choice was that we could have all been morose and sad and taking about it, that this is us and stuff like that, and it presented a lot of practical challenges. Like, just to give you an example, I mean, for all those people who may not know the challenges that come with a person who is epileptic, is per se the disease in itself will not cause you any harm as such, but if you have an epileptic seizure, you might fall when you're doing something which is very, very simple for you, but you might just fall on the road and injure yourself very badly because of the seizure. So just not to, I mean, so just to give, this is just to give you an example. So it makes very daily life sometimes very difficult. And of course, the medicines and things which are given to control these seizures have their own side effects. So given all these kind of things, my house environment could have been very morose and very, very gloomy and very, very depressing. But I say it with a lot of pride that my parents, both of them, even when my father was well and he was not having any of these problems, were out to make sure that I had a normal upbringing, and there were no such restrictions placed on me saying, you don't do this, don't choose this career, you have to look after me or something like that. In fact, when I went to college, both my parents were not well. And because of that, I had offered, I told them, I said, I'll, go to the engineering institute next year. But then they said, no, this is your life and this has to be led, this cannot be governed by us. And here I would only quote Khalil Gibran. And one of the lines which I love from Khalil Gibran is, he says, your children are not yours. They only come through you. It's life's own longing for itself. So it's something that you have to recognize, and they recognized it very well, and they said that I had a life of my own, and that cannot be a hostage to their situations.
Absolutely.
And that's what I tell my children also today, that I may like some careers, but then it's your life. You have to choose, and you have to make your decisions yourself. So those were some of
Absolutely.
the things which have inspired, and that's what I always feel, that there's no, in every family in the world, you will have people in that family who will be role models to you for, if
Absolutely right.
for
So this
many
is
things. So you don't have to look around too much for role models. If you can learn something from them, that's where the challenge lies, because I am nowhere close to holding that kind of attitude that they possessed, and they managed things in their lives with all those complications.
you are
So,
absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
so
Because
that's an honest confession. I mean,
and absolutely right. And I can also correlate with my childhood days when we also had some very serious problem in the family, in, from on health front. And the way I saw my father, holding into the fort so that children do not get distracted, their studies, should not get affected, is something which
correct.
you can't even imagine. And no matter how many books you write, still you can't actually express the way some of these parents have actually stood up and they have seen that
That's right.
to get the best of
So,
education.
the lessons are all around you. It's for you to pick them up.
And what you said now is very important because I do coaching. So in a batch, suppose it's like mostly one-to-one, but there are some batch-wise coaching also. Some of these programs I do in the morning, starting 5:30 to 6:30, something which I prefer calling as success and joy through the power of MMRG. MMRG is all about morning habits, magical morning rituals for greatness. In the same batch of 100 people, Siddharth, they won't believe. I think it's something which I think this is the rule of this world. In the same batch of say 100 people, there are 10, 20 people who are noting down. They are taking lessons, they are practicing this, and then they are giving their feedback. They are talking about the success stories. They are also coming back with their queries in case they see something not exactly working. And there are some 60 people who are like, they will come someday, they will not come someday. And then there are 20 people for whom, oh my God, what the heck? It is waking up at 5:30 in the morning. Let me not do that. So I think it's all about picking up the threads. The lessons are all there around us, right? In our family, among our parents, in the books. While talking to you, I'm getting a lot of lessons. It's about, I think, picking up threads in such a manner that you actually think about doing something about it, right? Actions, and that's where life changes.
So
Excellent.
I
So,
had put out an article some days back.
yeah,
I shared it with you on the threads of what have we picked up,
yeah,
and it was an article on how our professor, Professor Sabyasachi, who used to teach us accounts, if you remember him,
yeah.
and I was hopeless at his subject, and
I think you were
I
better than me. We were talking about Accelerate, by the way, audience.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I had put out an article on my LinkedIn handle, and it's a true recollection of what golden words he said, and somehow those words got stuck in my head. That
Yeah.
life is a balance sheet, and I was struggling with the balance sheets of organizations. He was taking it to the different level, and something, and that was a nugget which I picked up from what he was
This is
putting up.
very interesting. I'm just tempted to take a book. Let me see if I have one here. So I think there is a book which is visible, the Strawberry Farm. In this book, actually, in one of the chapters, I spoke about the balance sheet of life. See, that's why I can just connect it. So it's a book about a person who loses everything in Corona, and then he has got business and he has got some experiential, tourism kind of, business, which all goes for a toss once Corona comes and all that. And then he loses everything. He loses his parents, and then he's like labeled as a failure. And then he goes to a remote area, in a hill station where he had a cottage in the happier days. So he just opens the lock and then he starts living. And there, one day the guy thinks of writing the balance sheet of life, and then he gets a feeling that he still has got a lot of things, and with this one realization he starts taking some action, and then life gets completely transformed. Balance sheet of life. Now, audience, I think this is also very obvious by now to most of you that we are talking to somebody who also writes, who also shares his thoughts, which is very important. So let me share one picture which I picked up from one of the articles, Siddharth, which you've written. And this picture is very interesting. So we are going to talk about the horse theory or something. So which let it come from you. This is the article which I saw. This is the picture. In the article which you've written, Siddharth, would you like to share something? This is inspired by, I think, in a manner, inspired, I'm saying inverted comma, by the thing
Yeah,
that happened in Bangalore. Yeah.
yeah. There were some incidents. Uh, this is sidestepping from what we were just talking
Yeah.
about. So this is, uh, I mean, the title of this topic or of this article was horse logic.
Horse logic. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is how things seem to be panning out. And what I was just commenting on is that if, unless and until the rich, powerful, and the mighty
Yeah.
get affected by things, things which concern each one of us don't really happen.
Absolutely.
Or in another, put very simply by our forefathers and ancestors, might is right is a kind of a analogy to it. So, so when I was just recollecting that in Bangalore, we've got potholed roads and we have got flooded roads every season, and nothing was happening.
Yeah.
And in our neighboring country, Pakistan, we've got a third of the country underwater and 15% of the population under trouble, and nothing is happening over there. And then there was a celebrity person who
Yeah.
unfortunately passed away in a car accident
Yeah.
because of seat belts. And then, putting these things together, suddenly you realize that suddenly rear seat belts have become a new thing, and they've been
Absolutely.
there for always.
Long,
And
forever.
suddenly the right side of town in Bangalore got submerged, and suddenly the establishment woke up and say, "Oh, we are going to do something about it."
This is very powerful. I think I'll just take a pause here and let me share a couple of for a minute or so. Siddharth, I've seen in Pune, for example, I've seen in many cities. I'm talking about the number one cab car aggregator in the world. And this guy, this company has not insisted upon the chauffeurs to keep a seat belt on the rear seat. I have seen this happening with 80 to 90% of cars. They didn't have seat belts on the rear seat. And I have seen that in all the cases, the chauffeurs used to tell me that, sir, nobody uses it. And they are coming from this number one car. Of course, it's difficult to populate the culture, which you all know in corporates also is difficult, values, vision, and all that at corporate level, and then cascading it down to all the employees. I know it's a challenge. Having said that, now with this very sad incident which happened, involving a very big personality. I think now people have started talking about in WhatsApp messages. You must have started seeing a lot of people sharing a lot of messages saying that, let me start wearing a seatbelt. And actually, people are making memes around it, even while sitting at home.
This is another subject or an area which has been close to my heart of road safety.
Yeah.
And something which I have tried to inculcate into my children when they were not drivers, and now that one of them is a driver, I have actually made sure that whatever at least I can tell them, I am trying to tell them. I may not be able to tell them everything, but the fact of the matter is that it comes from this again, the attitude that put on a seat belt or else there is a fine of 500 rupees. The message is not that actually.
Yeah,
Put on the
absolutely.
seat belt and you might reach home and you might see your wife is a better idea to see.
Absolutely right.
Because we are trying to tell people that the police will catch you if you don't put your seat belt on. But probably Yamraj will catch you if you don't put on your seat belt.
That's
So,
the message.
so I mean, we are not realizing that aspect. So it's just a matter of either or we are not driving the way we are supposed to drive in our country. So
No, I see a very
this
strong
is the kind of, so that is what I'm trying to.
I see a very strong connotation. Of course, I have spoken about it in some of these earlier interactions. So my Peter Marisburg moment. Let people not wait for something as serious as Peter Marisburg moment, which is the term which I use for some moments in life which make you think, which make you sit back and reflect upon the way you have been leading life. It could be in the field of health, it could be in the field of relationships, it could be in the field of career. There are people who are put under PIP and then they start thinking whether they are on the right path, right? So I think let people not wait for that, for some of those moments to happen. Unfortunately, that is what is happening. Whether it's a Bangalore flood, whether it's road safety, whether it's some of these areas, I know that's the way the world is designed, but still there are people who are doing it proactively. Proactiveness is the word which I think Stephen Covey also spoke about. Great. Siddharth, you must be also hiring some youngsters and you have a lot of experience with you. Would you like to give some word of advice to the youth of today, which is lost a bit in reels and some of these things? I just released a video yesterday where I said that half of the youth of this country is busy while recording videos or taking pictures for the sake of reels, while pouting, while putting some makeup, and the remaining half is busy while watching this. So it was just a kind of message. Of course, it might not be true. Some message from you, 2 or 3 messages for the millennials, for the young generation. You must be interacting with some of these people while working in the company.
Only thing I have felt for youngsters, probably I would extend the definition of youngsters to the point where they are school-going kids also.
Absolutely.
One thing is that we tend to be leading now more or less a unidimensional life, which is either uh, focused around being just studying because you have to get into an IIT or you have to get into an AIMS or you have to go to the US. And so one thing is definitely about trying to embellish yourself as you are coming up in life. Add as many skills, learn music, pick up a hobby, do something which gives you pleasure, and when you have some time to yourself,
Yeah, absolutely.
embellish yourself. Don't become a unidimensional personality. So that is one thing which I tell to my kids also, and that's what I can share with you. That's one you should look at. Do be focused around what you want to do in life. Do try different things, because I was talking to my niece who's just about 30 years younger to me. So
Yeah.
I was telling her, I said, uh, I'm not, she was saying, I'm not able to decide. So I said, you put your
Yeah.
time to a little bit of things and see if you like them, continue. If you don't like, then devote that balance time to somebody, to something that you have come to like. So if you have 4 things and 2 of them you tried, you did not like, devote that time to the balance 2 things that you definitely like. Do that. And
Absolutely.
just do that kind of a thing. And finally do remain true to the place you come from. So no harm in giving up taking on the citizenship of another more prosperous country or location.
Yeah.
But please remain true to wherever you have, whatever place has brought you up and whatever place has given you whatever you are today. Be grateful to
Yeah.
that place. So these are some of the simple things which
Very
I
true.
feel. So
Very
those are
true.
things which I would like the youngsters of today to know, and
Absolutely. So,
and do know about your own selves, because there's a lot. I mean, I would consider myself a proud Indian. So I would only say this to the youngsters: please do read about your own selves. We know very little about it, or practically nothing.
nothing. Absolutely.
So
That's
please
at the
do.
core.
So please do read about yourselves. I also know nothing about it, but I just know, I surely know that I know nothing about it.
No, this is very important, Siddharth. I think now you have brought me to the topic which is at the core of my heart, and that is very close to my heart, and that is knowing oneself. The journey within is very important. When I made my vision board in 2019, I knew when I wrote about my strengths, what is that enthralls me, my passion, areas of passion, my purpose, my core values, my goals, and blah blah blah, and everything changed. So of course, I think you said something about you share some of the messages with the youngsters. So I keep on doing a lot of on-the-spot motivational sessions, including the sessions which I keep on doing for MBA students and various groups. I certainly see that your messages go to the right audience at the right time. It's awesome. Siddharth, some of these inspiring personalities, people who inspired you the most. Of course, you spoke about your family, your parents, and some other people. Would you like to add to the list? You spoke about the writer Khalil Gibran. Would you like to talk about some more people who inspired you uh, somewhere or the other?
Yes, definitely. One is Swami Vivekananda, who is, I haven't read much about him. I have seen him most in his quotes. I have
Yeah.
only read maybe a couple of his speeches. He is definitely one person whose ideas and thoughts are very relevant and very valuable today. So he is definitely one person whom I would love to read and love to know much about him. And he stresses a lot on the fact that what you think is what you say, and what you say is what gets done.
Absolutely.
And again, I say that it's very nice to read it as a quote. It's not at all simple to practice it, but what he's saying is very pithy.
Absolutely.
You must control what you are thinking. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
and
all
if you
begins from
put
there.
your,
It all
yeah, if
begins
you
from
put
there.
your mind towards it, so then I think it all begins in your mind. So if you
Absolutely.
and
No,
what
you
they
know,
all also tell us in management schools is this only, that you should dream it before you do it and things like that. So ultimately they're also just doing an adaptation of what he was saying, that think, I mean, be careful what you're thinking.
yeah. So I think this picture which I'm showing, this is that of a group of students from Jaipur. When I went there to this institution in way back in 2019, I recall so that time I had gone there to conduct a day-long motivational program because I was full of energy. I thought of designing an 8-hour session meant for students specifically. I recall in the very first hour I had spoken about the fact that all that we think, our thoughts become our life, our destiny, because our thoughts become our words become our actions become our habits decide our destiny. That's how powerful the thoughts are. And I think we are talking about the same thing. In a world, Siddharth, which is full of some of these distractions and some of the news which keeps on coming on television channels, if you open the front page of the newspaper, you know what kind of things are there all talking about. I don't want to get into that. Would you like to share some nuggets of wisdom as how to stay positive and how to keep our thoughts absolutely aligned? Of course, I don't want to talk about vision board and all that, which I made a lot of videos, but I wanted to hear from you how to your thoughts, your words, as how
You can always choose to read what you want to read.
Absolutely. You can always choose to gain the lessons even while looking at the same thing which the rest of the world is watching.
I mean,
Get the message.
I don't like to read any things which are negative about my country. So, so I would rather focus on only news uh, uh, which is definitely saying something positive about ourselves.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, you do run the risk of becoming an ostrich and not looking at many other things. I'm not advocating that.
Yeah.
But you can always, you can always skip the politics page, because invariably that politics page will leave you with a feeling of doom and gloom, saying nothing is
Everything
working, they're
is
sinking to
black.
newer limits and things like that. So, I mean, because you touched on this aspect, there are times when you feel that nothing is going working out and nothing is moving ahead. The only way I can relate to it is, okay, fine, let's assume nothing is working out, and nothing will work out either. Let's give it its credit, and let's start with that. So if that is the situation, then the only question to ask is, what are you going to do about it?
Absolutely. The
Are you
action.
going
Just take
to,
one micro action, things will start changing. You're absolutely right. Absolutely.
so if you are going to do nothing about it, then of course you are accepting the situation.
Absolutely right.
And if you are doing something about it, then at least you have the satisfaction that you did try to do something. Well, it didn't work out, so fine. You can blame others beyond that, but you said, okay, I have done my job, at least whatever I had to do. But if you are in a situation where you are regretting that I did not do anything, the regret of inaction is actually worse than anything else.
Absolutely, you're right.
So do whatever you can do, and of course there will be times when you will feel low and you will feel down and things will not work out. I sincerely don't trust those people who say, I have never had a dull moment, I have never felt
No,
low.
this happens with everybody. You are
This
absolutely
happens with
right.
everybody. Let's face it. And if you are having that, then you just focus on whatever you can or you are supposed to do, and then let the
Right.
situation emerge the way it will emerge. If you are already if seeing a situation which is beyond your control, then fine, let it be. You do whatever you are supposed to do.
Actually, we spoke
Don't
about this
leave
book.
that.
So, yeah, absolutely. So, in this book, the protagonist, the person who loses everything, and then he goes to live in a remote area because he can't bear with the tantra. Some of these words, some of these humiliations which people are throwing upon him, and the feeling of failing and losing it all. So then he goes, and then one night he can't sleep. He has a sleepless night, and the next morning he just decides to take one little action. And that's the reason I always tell my mentees and people that you just start with one little action which is within your control. Just do that. Forget about all that is, all the darkness which is surrounding you. With one little action, this could be as that shine of sun, which can actually dispel the mist and fog and cloud and whatever you say. And it happens. It's a journey. It happens. But one action has to be taken. And this guy, one day in the morning, he just thinks of getting into his, jogging shoes, and then he just goes for a walk. And then he sees the morning sun, rising sun, and then the pattern of his thoughts start changing. And I think that's how it happens. Just one little action, but one action which you can take is very important. And that's what we can do. And as you rightly said, these moments come in everyone's life. So Siddharth, this is very interesting. Now I know that audience is not going to forgive me if they get a feeling that I'm not even talking about the area in which you have spent so many years. We are talking about the field of marketing and promotion and some of these things which you have been into in the last more than 2 decades, I guess. So having been in the field of coaching and writing, Siddharth, I always used to take pride in the fact that I'm a person who believes strongly in content. Content is the king. Marketing will wait. Content is the king. But I was talking to one of the best-selling authors a couple of days ago, and the person told me that, yeah, content and marketing both come 50-50. Both are important. We all know that it's important. Marketing is important. Would you like to share some nuggets on marketing? What is that which fresh professionals who are getting into the field of marketing should keep in mind? So this is something which we have to listen from you, because we are talking to somebody who has been there in this field. You are head of marketing and a lot of areas.
Yeah, I have had that opportunity of looking at heading marketing.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I have come to realize is in management, the most important thing is common sense.
Absolutely right.
Common sense. I was lucky enough to have some very, very sensible initial bosses who had a very lasting impression on me when I had joined work. And I felt that what shone through each of their actions was taking decisions using common sense.
Absolutely.
So of course, I am not against the 2x2 matrices, and I'm not against any, 5 forces, and I'm not against any,
no, I'm enjoying this conversation. You're absolutely, I know what you're saying.
All those models that we have, yes, they do help put your thoughts in perspective, and they help you analyze a situation in a very organized and systematic manner. Absolutely. But at the end of this whole thing lies common sense, which means you may have done a lot of things, you may have done a lot of analysis, but ultimately it should not lead you to paralysis, and it should not it should serve the purpose that you wish to serve. Absolutely. So if you have, I'm just stepping out of marketing also, if you have any objective to be met, there can be 1,000 ways to meet it. What is most effective and what is most suitable for you is something that you have to arrive at, and given and what you know in terms of your knowledge and experience and whatever is the skill set that you possess, try and reach that objective. Absolutely. Using. So this is what it is all about. And common sense is generally not looked upon as saying, okay, this is something that you should be doing. It's always, I have to show you a flowery presentation first. I have to show you that some of the biggest of big guys have done this or done that. But actually, it's just simple common sense. This is what I've got. This is what I'm supposed to
Yeah,
achieve. These are the resources which I have got. And with these resources, this is the best way to effectively achieve this goal.
absolutely,
And this
absolutely,
is what I can measure and find out whether this has really worked or has not worked for me. That's it.
absolutely.
Nothing more.
Very nice, very nice. No, absolutely, very aptly explained. If we write a book, I mean, this is a question which I've been writing almost everybody who comes for these weekly conversations. If we write a book on your journey so far, what do you think would be the title of that book?
Experiences.
Experiences. Wow, amazing. Just like I prefer calling these sessions as conversations. One conversation can change somebody's life and can change the world. Experiences. And in this book, would you like to tell us about a couple of chapters in the heading? Suppose you are asked to name the heading, give a heading to a couple of chapters from the same book, any kind of chapters. Which those chapters would be from the same book?
I mean, I don't know, but this is the areas which I have learned. I have understood. I'm nowhere close to achieving them yet. Common sense in management is something which.
Wow, this could be one chapter actually. Common sense in management. Yeah.
Yeah, because too many times, I mean, if probably you would have all the common sense that we all sometimes feel is missing, then probably Dilbert would be out of his job.
No, this is he's always going to be there because there is always going to be a need.
So of course you also agree that common sense will never come will percolate down into management. But then that's one area.
Yeah,
An area where probably you could look at is in terms of how do we educate our people.
absolutely.
Educate, it doesn't mean that you educate people in terms of teaching them physics, chemistry, maths, and biology. Uh, it's it's again something which is I have always felt is how you connect, how you teach individuals to first draw the dots, and then you are able to connect the dots.
Absolutely.
That's what is required to be done, because
This is very important, I think.
so
I
so
think
that
we also took the example, Siddharth, that I think not all the classrooms are supposed to have boundaries. You know, you just go to a garden, open, and then you have some of the most.
Yeah, so that is what is real education, because of course you have to do some learning which you do not like. But I mean, as I was telling to my 8th grade son, that you may not like physics and you may not like history today,
Yeah,
but in the future, this is the baseline which will help you first draw the dot, and then hopefully as you evolve, it will help you connect the dot as to how this is connected to another thing, because it's for our ease that we break things down into smaller pieces, because we then try and absorb them.
absolutely.
But but nature is a continuum. Nature does not look at things in bits and pieces. It's only a human form and human nature which always breaks things down into compartments, and then makes silos out of them, and then fiefdoms and turf
And
wars.
some triangles, some squares, you know.
So it's only human nature which is, I said, nobody else, including the smallest of insects, do not think that way. They
Yeah,
always look at things as a continuum. So you have to look at things in as a continuum. So education is definitely one area which I feel. Another of the things which is very closely related to education is environment, because that's what we are out to destroy. And mind you, we cannot save the environment, we have to save ourselves. You cannot save the environment, you are nothing in the environment actually.
absolutely,
So you
absolutely.
have to save yourself. And actually education, the real education is only what actually tells you how to save your environment in whatever way and
That's a true education. Yeah.
manner that you would talk about. So these are some of the areas which have been close to my heart, and which I feel
Awesome.
that we are not doing good enough on these hearing. Well, we will learn our own lessons. Some of them will be hard ones.
Yeah, I just want people not to experience their my Peter Marisburg moment lessons. Let them do. I think it's important for people to think proactively and do something before things come to that grinding halt. We saw the picture of some of these cities being, in water and Pakistan. I think we have to do something in a proactive manner. You are absolutely
Yeah.
right.
So unfortunately, and that's another unique trait of our species, is that we don't learn things proactively.
I know. That's what brings coaches like me in the picture. And actually, I also learned this lesson after not learning proactively.
We don't learn proactively. So it's
When
not
the life gets under delusion, then I think people start.
till you are under a deluge, till you are under a flood, you don't
Yeah,
learn practice.
don't learn.
So it's all right. I mean, we will.
Absolutely, we learn.
Mother Nature has her own ways. So
Yeah, no, absolutely right. So another thing, we spoke about a lot of things. The last couple of things. Would you like to share a couple of books? Would you like to share a couple of names of books which have played an important role? Of course, we discussed a lot that it's not only about books. It's about people. It's about nature. It's about experiences. It's about parents. It's about a lot of things which we can learn from. But a couple of books which you would like to recommend to our audience.
yeah, a very simple book which I read more than 20 years back was The Mind of the Strategist by Kenichi Omai,
Okay.
which puts things very simply in perspective on
Okay.
strategy and how to take things forward. Very simply written, very, very simply explained. So that is one book which I have always held in very high regard. Another book is The Tao of Physics. It's a book written by a leading physicist of the 70s. It's Fridtjof Capra, and it's a book which draws the parallel between high order nuclear physics and Eastern mysticism.
Wow.
It's a book which talks about the parallels which are existing and how they are closely connected. But I would say we are not yet ready to uh, look into those areas and dive and talk into those areas
Yeah.
yet. We are not willing to accept it because of political reasons or because of our social reasons, that probably what is written in our so-called religious or so-called historical texts is actually high order science, which you are not able to understand with whatever level of knowledge we possess today.
Absolutely right. You're
And
absolutely
this
right.
comes from a physicist, so you cannot dismiss him. And so that's another book which I have come to like
Beautiful,
quite a bit.
beautiful. You must have visited a lot of places, Siddharth. So, any particular places across the world which you liked specifically, and any reason that makes you fall in love with some of these places? Would you like to talk about some places? Because I am a strong believer in the fact that we can learn from books, places, people, and all kind of stuff which you spoke about. So let's talk about a couple of places which inspired you the most, which made you the happiest.
Well, of course, any place which is created by Mother Nature is something which is a place of joy.
Awesome.
And
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
I personally like to see places of natural beauty rather than man-made things. Yes, of
Yeah.
course, I please do not get me wrong that I do not appreciate.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I've seen that
Travel
happiest as
to the
well.
rest of cities, but if given the choice, I would always love to see natural beauty. And the places which have left lasting impressions are very simple places, I'll tell you. uh, these are journeys that I take. I have taken a lot of train rides between Bangalore and Hubli, and these are typically night rides. And as the trains generally move out of the city,
Yeah.
and where you have a lot of lights, and now I could it's a very interesting time when you can see uh, times when you used to have load shedding and no power, to a time when you are having light pollution at
Yeah.
night.
Light
So
pollution.
light pollution. I mean, I was surprised to read it, and then till I experienced it myself. That it's
Yeah.
been more than 30 years that I have not seen stars. So in the middle of the night. So these are train rides in which there are places which are absolutely dark, where you can actually see the stars. So that
Yeah.
is one place which I love, because it actually it's a reminder to you the position that you have in this whole scheme of things.
All few things. Yeah.
And of course, another place which I went on a trek more than 5 years back, it's Deori Tal in Uttarakhand, where again at night we were looking up in the sky and somebody said, look, there are clouds in the middle of the night. This was 3 a.m. in the morning. And I told them, you are not looking at clouds. You're actually looking at the Milky Way galaxy. You don't get
Ah.
to see it. You don't get to see it because you are now at the receiving end of light pollution. But now you're getting to see it. So please have a look at it and enjoy it and capture it in your memory. So
Beautiful.
these are very simple places which I have experienced, and
Beautiful.
I am taken aback by the magnitude and the awesome beauty of nature, and you cannot describe it in words. So
Absolutely. One is the experience. Life is all about experiences because I
yes,
also,
leave it at that.
yeah, I've seen that this happen. I've seen this happening with many benches. Unless the experience, the power of, for example, waking up a little earlier in the morning, because this is one of the things out of 50 things which you keep on talking. Unless they experience something themselves, they will not exactly know what I'm talking about. So what you're talking about is something which is all about experience, So I'm based out of Pune, and there are so many beautiful, trekking destinations around Pune because of Lord Shivaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. There are many hillocks, almost 50 plus, maybe 100 plus, maybe 300 plus kind of people say. And at the top of most of these hillocks, there is a nice fort. So many people go for trekking. And I keep on telling my wife that why to, if LIC है तो बाहर क्यों जाना? मतलब इतने beautiful जगह ये आसपास है तो कहाँ जाना है बाहर में जाकर? Let's go. And so every time I take her, we get into the car and I take my family to one of these beautiful, nice hilly areas, lakeside areas. There are so many places in Maharashtra. I'm just talking about one state. And as you rightly said, nature has got so much in abundance. People are traveling to different places, cities. They are spending 10 days in 10 cities. They are coming back and still they do not know what we're talking about. But I think we both know what we're talking about. I think the audience by now knows what we're talking about. Great. Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't, you need not, I mean, of course, going to different cities, some beautiful cities
Important. Yeah.
created, and they are really worth a visit, and you must go and see them if you get a chance and opportunity to them. But given the choice, my choice would always be to go to a natural destination rather than a city. So
I come from the background of naturopathy doctor. So my father-in-law is in naturopathy. Dr. Nagendra Neeraj. He is the head of director of Yogram, which is one of the largest, and he has traveled across the countries. I have seen him, feeling so happy while eating something as simple as warm, kind of bowl of rice and some dal and some fruits and some other things. So we are talking about the power of appreciating the beauties in little things which are there. Billy, I'm pretty sure you also must have seen when you went to this place in Uttarakhand, many other friends might not have been able to appreciate some of these things which we are talking about, right? So once we develop that power to appreciate little things, the entire whole life becomes so full of light. I'm talking about enlightenment, not light pollution. Yeah, absolutely right. So it's all about appreciating
I
beauty.
only think that I mean, I may sound a little too full of myself, but I feel that as a species, we are too full of our own selves.
Yeah, you're right.
It's time that we recognize, our place in the whole scheme of things.
Absolutely.
And, whether we like it or we don't like it, our place in this whole scheme of things is very, very small. It's
Absolutely.
if not, I would not want to offend your audience and you by saying this is really insignificant. It does not matter. I mean, if you look at it in a little larger perspective, we are the only species on this planet. If you were to remove them from this species, from this planet, nothing will stop.
This is absolutely true. I think
if you remove even a simple hummingbird, or you remove an insect from this scheme of things, there will be a consequence. this has got two very simple outcomes.
Yeah.
One outcome is that because you are not in the food chain, or you are not doing something for the larger system, it protects you. So no lions and tigers come to eat you because you are not a part of their food chain. But the second thing which I have come to realize is it also makes you expendable.
Absolutely.
So you are expendable. So please do not get this wrong idea that things will not work if you're not there. So I actually do not subscribe to the fact of when people say save the environment. You save your own backside first, because environment doesn't need you. You need it.
You need it. Absolutely right.
You please take care of yourselves rather than the environment, because you are nobody in this game.
Absolutely, absolutely. Awesome. I think, Siddharth, it has been amazing talking to you. I didn't even know that it's already close to 1.5 hours, and I'm pretty sure audience also would be looking for more, but I think we shall have to organize another talk. So I'm pretty sure we are going to have more conversations in the series. Thank you so much, Siddharth. It's an amazing experience for me and for the audience to have your almost close to 90, I think much more than 90 minutes, because I'm pretty sure you might be getting ready and you keep on thinking over the weekend, over the weekdays before we come for this conversation. But we are talking to somebody who is absolutely impromptu, because you've got so much within you, and we just tapped a little kind of part of this. So thank you so much, Siddharth. Today, 2nd October. Wishing a very happy 2nd October. Of course, when I talk about it, I recorded a small video today morning that it's not only Gandhi Jayanti, it's not only about Satya and Ahimsa, which are very important qualities. It's also about Jai Jawan and Jai Kisan. It's also the Lal Bahadur Shastri.
I was about to say that.
Absolutely. So thank you so much.
Most unsung prime ministers of India.
Yeah, so I just recorded a video which is going to come, I think, by 12 o'clock. Thank you so much for your very enlightening thoughts. Light pollution is something which I've heard for the first time. Thanks for teaching a lot of things which we learned.
No, it's all over the media.
I really appreciate your time. God bless you, and look forward to talk to you once again. Have a great, amazing Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.